presenting my work on the destruction of UC San Diego, which I call UCSD Hell on Earth. In this presentation, we'll explore fossil evidence dating from the late Twilight Mom period, which explains how a series of sonorous haikus led to the nuclear downfall of UC San Diego Computer Science and Engineering. My line of research all started with this archaeological discovery. What is interesting about this sign, found next to a discarded steak and cheese chimichangas wrapper, is not its content, but its format, that of a haiku. Further digs uncovered even more poetic signage. As we continued our dig, we found some shocking fossil evidence. Paleontologists working near the In-N-Out dig site have unearthed the skeletons of two prehistoric creatures, which they're calling George Varghese and Stephen Savage. Based on the flaky skeletal evidence, we've reconstructed numerous conversations between George and Stephen. And we're able to create the following dramatization, showing how their reckless actions led to the destruction of UC San Diego.
So following in the hot successes of Haiku Tuesday, Sonnet Wednesday, and dramatic monologue about the Bathrooms Friday, Stephen the Savage and I have decided to institute a new policy in this department. From now on, all dissertations must be written in the form of an epic poem, to be recited in full from memory at your defense.
The idea worked at first, changing the thesis defense from a horrible hours-long ordeal into a horrible 30-second-long affair.
Blah, blah, yada, yada.
Thanks, Dr. Shockham. By using a bug which is prevalent, it is possible for hackers malevolent to change voting machines to install new regimes. And now Brian Cantor is president.
Poetic expression did not stop at dissertations. We discovered a hard drive from the Programming Languages Department with several examples of H++, the haiku-based programming language, developed at UCSD in the early 2010s. Eventually, all code in the department was written in H++, including the narcoleptomatic, developed on the Fishsticks platform. This prototype device quickly shuts down a nuclear power plant when its energy is not currently needed. A production version was installed in the San Onofre nuclear generating station. All was well and good, and significant uranium savings were achieved. However, Stephen Savage, growing tired with analyzing the security of keys, cars, and Viagra, branched out into the security of poems. His seminal work in rhythmic pentameter septameter confusion denial of service attacks determined how a metric overrun in H++ programs could reverse the polarity of any attached system. Unfortunately for Southern California, this overrun propagated to the narcoleptomatic, and instead of quickly shutting down the nuke, it caused an uncontrolled critical mass to form which wiped out Southern California, taking UCSD CSE with it. I'll now take questions from the audience.
Any questions?
Nothing.
Well, there are no questions. We'll move on to Celebrity faculty. Will the presenters please come on? Charlie.
Good afternoon. I am Carl von Berensquash, and this is my colleague, Dr. Faceberg. Today we're here to discuss our theory of the destruction of California, which we call the celebrity faculty theory. As this name suggests, our research leads us to believe that the faculty of UCSD CSE became celebrities in the early 21st century, which left the grad students unattended and led to catastrophe, obviously. We begin by describing out our methodology. To gather our evidence, we mine the ancient archives of the 21st century internet. We use a number of historical internet sources such as Facebook, Google Images, Twitter, and so on. So let's go over what we found. In the archives of the microblogging website Twitter.com, we found evidence that Professor Keith Marzullo became a famous ukulele musician, collaborating with popular artists at the time, such as John Mayer. Next, by searching through Facebook archives, we found that Professor Serge Belangi was a member of a popular rock band called SO3. We found a staggering amount of evidence in the form of two-dimensional photographs and Facebook events. This leads us to believe that the band SO3 became a national sensation. Next, we browsed Google image search archives and looked for names of various faculty. We found photographic records showing that Professor Henrik Jensen won the prestigious Academy Award. Our calculations show that the award was most likely received in the Best Supporting Teapot Animation category. We also found conclusive evidence showing that Professor Jensen immersed himself in the Hollywood lifestyle, dating a number of famous actresses. Next, we dug through the Internet Movie Database. Using face recognition technology, we searched through thousands of movie posters to see if any of them contained UCSD CSE members. Indeed, 21st century, Professor Russell Impagliazzo starred in a number of comedies. Other historians have previously found records of Professor Impagliazzo's fondness for stand-up comedy and improv, which further supports our discovery. And so next, we browsed through the archives of MySpace.com, another highly regarded historical archive. And we believe this was a medium of sharing music in high-class society of the 21st century. According to records we found there, we speculate that Professor Sanjoy Dasgupta was driven mad by the wild, unintuitive nature of high-dimensional Hilbert spaces, which led him to question reality and begin writing death metal music. We found records that Professor Dasgupta formed a death metal band called The False Positives and released an album called The Curse of Dimensionality, which went on to get 10 billion views on MySpace.com. Our last piece of evidence comes from the magazine